Hi everyone, this is Tarot Destiny. Welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Today we're doing a part 2 on the death of Karen Carpenter. There are a lot of people I feel involved in this, and if you need to go back and review what we did last time on part 1, please feel free to listen to that one as well, or watch that one. I read the coroner's report, and I'm going to go over a few things that I just feel are like really irregular, and it doesn't really match up with his final diagnosis that her death was due to a heart issue from her anorexia. I think she was like 107 pounds at the time of her death, so that's I mean, it's low, but it's normal. Okay, so I read the coroner's report, and there's a couple things I want to bring up. The spleen was enlarged. The left ovary showed signs of hemorrhaging. There seemed to be a yellowish green fluid in her system. No food was found, which I thought was strange until I got to the part of her blood sugar. They had said that her blood sugar was 10 times normal. Now, I have diabetes. I've had it since I've been 26 years old. So it is type 1, so it requires insulin. The average blood sugar for someone this age would be maybe 75 to 90, just depending. Her blood sugar was 1,110. That is unbelievable. That enough would be enough for her to die. Okay, so I don't know how she got a blood sugar level of that, because that is not normal. If she didn't have diabetes before, I mean, I guess she could have been just hiding it, or maybe she didn't know what she had. I'm not sure, but that is alarming. With that kind of blood sugar, I would bet you any amount of money that she went into what is called ketoacidosis. It is a life-threatening event. And if you don't get to the hospital in time, or if you put it off, you're gonna die. You feel really, I've had ketoacidosis, unfortunately, a couple different times, and you just feel so sick. You cannot put one foot in front of the other. You would be like hard to understand. Like my husband has said, you were just completely out of it. That's why I took you in, blah, blah, blah. How did she get that though? We might look into that and see if maybe somebody injected her with it, because she was at her parents' house. Anyway, that is what I got from reading that. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to use let me get this iPad out of the way. We are going to use this tarot deck. It's a nice deck. I really like it. I really like the artwork. Now I do start off with all my cards upright, and that's how I read, and I kind of put it in context with the cards that are surrounding it. But if my card falls on the table and it's in reverse, I'll read it that way. Let's see here. Let me get my cards in order. Sorry about this, y'all. Oh my, they're all switched around. Bear with me. It's so aggravating when I do this. Okay, let's see here what we got now. That looks pretty good. Okay. So I work with my ancestors, my spirit guides, and my angels, and they give me an inkling of what's going on when I, do the cards. So I pull from jumpers, so I'll try and keep my hand in the camera as best I can. And one of my friends told me that in part one of Karen Carpenter, there was a row of cards that were kind of off screen. So I hope I've corrected that, but it's a work in progress for sure. Okay, the first thing I'm going to ask in part two is about her brother Richard, who she was partners with in the Carpenters. And I want to ask, how did Richard feel about Karen in general? Okay, so y'all, how did Richard feel about his sister in general? Okay. Ace of Wands. So that may be like a new creative project she was working on. Page of Swords. Somebody was watching her, or she was being watched. And the Hanged Man. She was kind of stopped in her tracks, kind of in a stuck position. So there's that. Let me pull a few more and see. Ace of Wands, please clarify. Wow, okay, this was in regard to money, for sure. The Seven of Pentacles, that's putting your time in and seeing if your project is going to be profitable or pay off in the end. Ten of Wands is a heavy burden, and the Queen of Swords is a truth teller. She can also be the law, a lawyer, a judge, doctors, stuff like that. All right. Was Karen being watched? Please clarify the Page of Swords. Seven of Cups means many choices. It can also mean overindulgence in drugs or alcohol. And the Hangman, please clarify. That's clarified by Justice, indicating that whatever happened, there will be justice for Karen in the end. Alrighty, now let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. The Chariot. So the Chariot can be moving forward, and it can also mean riding in a physical car, but most generally in a regular reading, the Chariot means forward movement, okay? Whatever you put your will to or your mind to, that's the direction you're going to go. So, okay, let me check this just to make sure I've got everything. I think I'm getting everything in. Okay. So, looking through this, a big motivation for Richard, of course, was money, right? And he may have looked at his sister as being too icy. If it's not a law enforcement official or anything like that. The Queen of Swords will tell you the truth, but it's not going to be delivered with, you know, any, what do I want to say? They're very direct, okay? They're going to tell you like it is. There's not going to be any warmth to their tone. So that's kind of how the Chariot, I mean, the Queen of Swords is represented. All right. So I can sense that there were some battles, right, in this partnership. They were putting their time in to see if, you know, they could get anything to take off or grow for them. And the Ten of Pentacles is somebody that has a lot of money. So I think here their money was involved for sure. Okay. And the Seven of Cups. Also, when you are in a high glycemic state like she was, it is common to really lose your equilibrium, right? And people that are suffering with that kind of blood sugar would feel very nauseous. They would feel very ill. They wouldn't be going anywhere. Let's put it that way. I'm going to clarify kind of the ending feeling with Richard through the Whispers of Unsolved. This is from the Reckoning Co. Ashley. Let me see here. Okay. Did Richard have any part in Karen's death? Did Richard have any part in Karen's death? Okay, outside in the open. Contract. What kind of contract could this be? Well, this could be any kind of contract. It could be a verbal contract with her brother, or it could be a paper contract that you get when you're doing music deals, right? And I think I put this in my other video, but when performers are signed, right? So in this case, they were signed to a record label. They have to have, or their music, you know, like, I think this was A&R Records. I can't remember right now. A&M Records, something like that. But anyway, when they sign these people, and, you know, they sign on the dotted line, they are also taking out life insurance, right, on all of their performers, because music labels have a lot wrapped up in their performers, and at that time they really did, more so I think than now. But so let's see, a weapon. A weapon could be anything. I mean, the weapon could be something that made her ill. The weapon could be the reason that she got her blood sugar so high, right? So someone used a weapon against her. Okay, now we have aliens. I use this card to represent people that really don't belong in your crew and your family because you don't know them that well, all right? Hang on, threw this on the floor. Fired. I don't know, fired. She might have been let go, or he might have been let go at some point in time with, what he was working on in his professional life. High vibes. I think Karen was overall a very happy person. There were a lot of lies told surrounding her death. Affair, cheating. So Karen was married, but her husband, Richard Burris, and her were estranged. So was he having an affair and cheating? Was she having an affair and cheating? Were they both, in that situation? There were some falsities or false people in her circle. Propaganda, fake news. Now I'm going to go through the other side of this deck because there's 180 cards, I think, in this deck, but somebody disposed of evidence. There's red flags here over what happened. There's some digital evidence. It happened in their neighborhood. She was staying with her parents at the time. And also dismemberment. She wasn't dismembered, so I don't know what they're talking about there. Why did... Ego. I think her brother had a really big ego, actually. I think he was jealous of his sister. He's gonna get revenge on her. Okay, what happened here? Oh, there's a snake involved, or a backstabber. And a thief. This reminds me of someone just sneaking around their house, up to no good. See, spouse, partner. So I'm thinking Richard was involved. Richard Burris, yes, was involved too. Mental health. We know anorexia is a mental illness. There were some artificial or fake things, not like it seemed. And she was having a medical emergency, and somehow someone's supplier was cut off, right? But it could be a supplier of anything. It could be drugs. It could be regarding your electricity in your house. But in this case, it indicates that there was a breakdown in something in her life. There is a paper trail. Delays. Kidnapped, hands tied. I don't think she was actually kidnapped, but I think her hands were tied. Whether they injected her with some sort of glucose to make her blood sugar go up that high, I'm not sure, but that would really be going by way of ketoacidosis, which is ultimately what I think really happened here, is not fun. You feel really, 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 really terrible. So I'm gonna stop with Richard right there because it's obvious he was jealous of his sister, and also Richard Burris was jealous of her money. They were estranged, and so he wanted some money, and I think that that was his motive. Okay, let me clear this up, and we will start over with the next question. Hope everybody's having a good day today. This is Friday, January 30th. We're almost in the second month of the new year already. Seems like just yesterday we were celebrating it. Okay, let's see. This might be kind of an obvious question, but were her brother and her ex-husband, or I should say that he wasn't an ex-husband, but they were living different lives, and her spouse in this together? And let's see what we get there. Okay. All right. Were her brother and her spouse on this plan to get rid of her? Well, this is Two of Cups. So Two of Cups is, it can be just a partnership, like between brother and sister, or it can be like with your mate, like her husband. I've got a few here that flipped over. Seven of Swords. I think that they were both involved in this plan together to get rid of her, which Seven of Swords is followed by death. There was someone lying and kind of sneaking around, doing some underhanded things. Let's see, the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups means someone's walking away from a situation. Not that it was really a bad, you might have felt very comfortable, people you've known for years, everything like that, but you go to walk away and change the direction of where you're heading because you think there's really, it's comfortable, but you would like to move on and do some other things. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. So what did they do to Karen to make them feel such a way? Or this is Nine of Wands. It's a heavy burden, actually. And they call it the wounded warrior because you are beat up, right? You've been tussling and you're beat up, but you have just a little bit left in you that you think you can make it. And Eight of Pentacles is money that you accumulate, right? So it can be referring to a job, like her music career, or it can be referring to just gaining a big boost in your income. So based on this, I would say, yes, they were in cahoots together and there were things going on that shouldn't have been going on. Also, I thought it was interesting that the cause of death the coroner gave was heart failure due to her anorexia. And that seemed to be opposite of what the paramedics thought. They thought that she had ketoacidosis and that's why she died. And I think she pretty much died at the hospital. She was pronounced dead when they got there. So They did perform CPR on her for a while, I know. So I just don't think that cause of death at coronary use matches really probably her situation, but we'll see about that down the road. Okay. So we found that, sorry folks, I've got a frog in my throat. We've determined to wrap this part up that Richard and her brother, Richard Burris, her husband, and Richard Carpenter, her brother, were in this together. Let's see. What was the motive? I feel like we already know, but let's see if we can get a clarifying answer on that. What was the motive for Karen to pass away? What was the motive of her brother and her spouse? Just one more. All right, angels, spirit guides, ancestors, please give me the motive for Karen Carpenter's death. Please give me the motive for Karen Carpenter's death. They don't want to tell me. There you go. 10 of Pentacles, money. Money was the motive. Queen of Cups. I forgot to look up Karen's birthday to see if she was a water sign. The Hermit. She's kind of all by herself in this situation. There's no one that she feels she could go to. And then the Eight of Wands is fast communication, right? Messages, emails, going back and forth. It can be just an event that moves quickly. So it could be that her death was quick from the time they found her, because her mother found her supposedly in their kitchen, passed out on the floor. Okay. So obviously, money is what they were after. Let's see if there's anything at the bottom of the deck that I could use here in the situation. Nope, not really. Okay. All right, well, once we come back for part 3, we'll be doing the parents, the current feelings of the parents, and was the coroner paid off to put a certain cause of death on the death certificate to avoid any sort of investigation into what happened to Karen. Thanks all so much for checking in. I hope you like this video, and part 3 will be coming soon. Bye, y'all.